the key to harmony.
Good day and welcome back to Health Focus, your go-to space for health, wellness and everything in between. My name is Yolinda Dippenaar, a registered dietitian with We Are Centurion. Today's topic is something that many of us struggle with quietly, and that is burnout and work stress. We talk about how it can get in the way of your weight loss goals and long-term health. It's not just about what we eat. Our mental and emotional health plays a huge role in shaping our overall well-being. I'm joined here today by a truly passionate person in this field, Riana De Villiers, a counselling psychologist. She's here to help us unpack the emotional and mental toll that burnout has on you. And she is helping us to see how to get balance back into your life and to help us to see how this burnout can creep into our routines. Welcome, Riana.
Thanks, Yolinda. I'm so happy to be here and I'm really excited for this important topic.
Riana, let's start with the first question. From a psychological point of view, how does burnout and work stress show up in your body and your mind? And tell us, how do you see signs? What signs do you see? And is early signs that we maybe do not detect beforehand or don't really see ourselves? What should we look for to know that this is creeping up on us?
So Yolinda, the effects of chronic stress doesn't suddenly appear. It's a gradual becoming aware of not feeling well. So for example, struggling to make decisions or to maintain focus or to concentrate. That mental fogginess. So that's on the mental. Emotionally, we might become a bit more irritable, just feeling overwhelmed, less tolerant, not as patient, or just that emotional numbness at times. And then in the body, lack of sleep or sleep disturbances normally is a common sign. And then tension in the muscles or tension headaches, digestive issues, and just general fatigue. And one of the common missed signs could be a gradual loss of interest in the things we normally enjoyed, that gradual withdrawal from social activities or just leisure activities. And oftentimes we just say, oh, it's just been a busy week, or it's just this project I'm working on, and then those weeks become months.
We often hear about the hormone cortisol when we talk about stress. Cortisol is a part of our body's natural survival response, but when it stays elevated for too long, it can contribute to poor sleep, low energy, and even emotional eating. Riana, can you maybe walk us through how prolonged mental and emotional stress can elevate the cortisol levels and the effect that that has on our daily lives?
Okay, so yes, Yolinda, as you said, cortisol is our body's natural response to stress that we need to stay alert and handle a challenge or a threat that we see. So it's supposed to ebb and flow. So after that stressful situation, it's supposed to just disappear and our body returns to normal. But when we are exposed to situations where the stress becomes prolonged and it becomes a lifestyle rather than a moment, then that cortisol does not go away and it stays in the body. And our body just is in a flight or fight mode. So we feel like we're just in survival. So that is why we tend to have increased cravings, especially for food that is quick energy, high in sugar, high in fat, to get that quick release of bursts of energy that we need for this, to outrun this lion or to tackle this challenge. And if we don't use that, it's stored in the belly area. And then also, sleep is oftentimes disrupted because the mind just stays highly alert and it doesn't switch off. So, and with that sleep that is broken and not restorative, that means we've got low energy the next day, we're just more fatigued, and then the emotional regulation becomes problematic. Our bodies are in heightened reactivity, so it's just a fight response. So and it just depletes the emotional reserves that we have, so that we are irritable the whole time. We battle to cope with slight upsets. So emotional regulation becomes difficult because our body is in a heightened emotional state of reactivity. So then we have less emotional reserves available to cope with upsets. So we become more irritable, more impatient.
Yes, I love the idea that you said it's supposed to be a moment, not prolonged, no, not a long thing. Because, yes, when you look at flight and fight, that is only the threat is there only for a moment. So in our world now, that threat stays, and that is how we burn out our body, because there's just too much of that. And
Exactly.
also you've mentioned the sleep. So we all know as well that there is research showing that if you don't have enough sleep, then you can't really lose your weight as you want to and should.
Yes, definitely. And that elevated cortisol levels actually impacts negatively on that sensitive balance of hormones, of the other hormones in the body. And that's where we get the toxic reactions.
Yes, because if your hormones also is not balanced, then again you get all the negative effects on the weight loss because of that as well.
Mm-hmm. And especially all those belly fat that is accumulated in the midsection.
When someone is physically burnt out, how does that affect their routines, their ability to exercise regularly, their ability to follow a meal plan? How does that impact really the whole weight loss journey, or just being healthy journey?
That is a very important question. When we feel burnt out, it means that the body does not have that mental capacity or that emotional energy available to make sustained good choices. And it's like, so the mind goes into a survival mode, and that is to conserve energy. It's like when you switch your phone on power saving mode. Then all the apps don't run in the background. The phone doesn't function optimally as it would when it had full power. And the same is true for us. When we are in burnout, it means that we are running on empty. Executive functioning is impacted. Now, the executive functioning has got to do with planning and prioritizing and self-monitoring. And that is not efficient then. So it becomes difficult to make those choices, because even the slightest or the simplest choices becomes overwhelming because of that decision fatigue that people struggle with. So deciding what to eat or when to move your body just becomes overwhelming. And then the body a natural response would then for the body be just to lie on the couch and scroll for an hour, or just to grab that fast food meal or that high energy meal, because that is the only thing the body is able to do at that moment. So it's not that people don't know what to do. They do. They just don't have the capacity to do that.
They don't care anymore.
They just don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
Survival
So there's basically the two things. The one is I eat mindlessly because I know I have to eat, but I don't care what I eat. And the other one is people just don't eat. I remember, I thought about this just now. We had a friend, she had twins. And I remember when they were small, she would just go to bed. She would say she will put the twins, she's going to put them into bed. And then she just didn't come back for supper because we were too late with the braai or whatever. And that, I think she was so burnt out emotionally with the twins that she just decided supper, it's fine, I need sleep more.
And I think the priority is in that situation, the children. That is the priority. And for survival, just close your eyes. That is just...
Yes, because...
there's no energy available to do anything.
I think that the question that our viewers want to know is practical ways to help them. When they are in burnout, what practical things can they do to help themselves to get out of burnout and to just get back into balance?
I think the most important thing there is to do activities to regulate your nervous system, because the nervous system is really overstressed at the moment. So things like back to basics, breathing, deep, mindful breathing, that 4 counts in, hold for 4, 4 counts out, rest for 4, and that repeats for about 2 minutes or so. That regulates your nervous system. Eating proper meals, regular meals, and meals containing protein, getting adequate sleep, or just managing good sleep hygiene. That means going to bed at specific times, getting up at specific times, not being on your phone for about 30 minutes before bedtime.
Tell me, sorry, is the screen time for adults and children, does it differ?
No.
No, so half an hour.
30 minutes before bedtime, no screen time.
Okay.
Because your mind needs to relax. We are trying to just give that nervous system a break. So while we are on our phone, even if we think it's mindless, our brain is activated.
Yes.
And then stretching, just moving your body around. Stretching is important. And then also joyful movements like dancing on music for about 2 minutes. So that also helps to reduce the cortisol levels. Being outside for 5 minutes in the morning specifically, so that morning light also reduces that cortisol levels.
There's this thing that the older generation always told us to stop and smell the roses. So
Exactly.
that is definitely important. So get out there and see the sunrise, or that's what we always do that when we are on holiday. You will see the sunrise over the ocean or something like that. But in our daily lives, we don't do that. We should actually stop and go into the garden and just see what God gave you. He gave you a wonderful new present this day.
I think it's about being intentional and mindful. Just being present in the moment. Just smell the roses and just feel the sun on your skin and just breathe in that air. It's just giving your nervous system a break. And then hydration is very important. Getting adequate water. And taking pause between tasks. We oftentimes rush from the one task to the next because there's just so many things to do. And that means our nervous system is just stretched out all the time. So taking a pause between tasks, and that doesn't mean that you have to switch on Netflix and watch an episode. That means for about a minute or two, you can just deep breathe, just roll your shoulders back, just maybe pace. Not take out your phone and scroll. That does not count as a break. It needs to be just mindless, just deep breathing. And then we need to learn to say no. Oftentimes burnout is because we overextend ourselves, we overcommit. So we need to learn to say no without feeling guilty. And no is a full sentence. You don't need to explain.
That's
Just
awesome.
like, thank you so much for the invitation. It sounds like fun. Unfortunately, I can't make it.
That's it.
And that is it. There's actually so many more things. So each day, pick one activity for 10 minutes that you do to reset your nervous system. For example, just sitting outside for 10 minutes, doing nothing. Not scrolling your phone. Just really be present. Take a longer shower. Or be a little bit longer in the bath. And I think shower time is the only time people are without their phones. And then don't rush. Just slow movements, because we're in and out of that shower because there's so many things to do. So a longer shower. Just have that hot beverage for 10 minutes, not being on your phone, not multitasking, just really sitting and enjoying the moment, because we want to reset our nervous system. And then movement, as I say, or listening to music. That for 10 minutes, it means it's like 2 or 3 songs, something upbeat, something that lifts you or soothes you. And not be on your phone. Just really close your eyes and just listen to that music. And then I also like lists, because there's so much information in our brain, so much to do things, so much tasks and responsibilities, and it just floats around in your brain, and that becomes stressful and overwhelming, and we become anxious. So I like to do brain dump, and a brain dump means you take pen and paper. I'm old school, so pen and paper. You can use your phone for this one on the notes, and just dump all those things that you need to do, all those responsibilities on that piece of paper. And then you externalize that stress. And then you can look at it, and then you can start prioritizing more easily. And you start with, what is the next most important thing I need to do? And then you tackle that. Or you look and see what is going to take 5 minutes or less. That person you need to phone, that appointment you need to make, that text you need to send, or that email. And those are things that is in your mind, and it just becomes bigger than it actually is. So then you can tick it off. It's so rewarding and satisfying just to tick that
because
off.
so heavy on your shoulders, and actually if you can tick it off,
Yes,
it can
and
work. But I don't know if all personalities is like that. My husband isn't like that. He doesn't do the list thing.
Okay. Maybe not then for him. And then also we need to keep track of our emotions, and we need to externalize that emotion. The brain finds it very calming if we can name an emotion. I am feeling overwhelmed because I don't have adequate time to do X, Y, Z. And then if we do mindful journaling, we do questions like, what feels heavy at the moment? Or what do I need today? It just helps externalizing that.
It's all the things that what you're talking about is what I did when I was small. Now, meaning like a teen and maybe in my 20s. But now the teens will be on their phones, not journaling. They will not take a pen and put it on paper because the phone is starting to overtake everything. So there's a big question mark again about the phones. Just to put it away for a while and focus on me. Ask questions for me, what I want to know, and just maybe talk about it. Just maybe have a soundboard on paper or maybe with someone. Sitting with someone, not on your phone, talking to them about what's going on in your mind and in your emotions. I think that's very important as well, and something that we oftentimes miss now because we think that the moment that we have to just relax, we go on our phone.
And that is actually counterintuitive. The phone does not help us relax because we need to think about things that give our nervous system a break.
Yes.
And that means just really being present in your body in the moment. I like the fidgets as well. If you can just feel something smooth in your hand, and then you focus on that, what you feel, the hardness of an object, or how soft it is, or how elastic it is. When we are feeling anxious, we start to think about something, and then we think ourselves into a spiral. Because the one thing becomes the other thing, and then it just becomes a big thing. So normally we would say to somebody, just breathe in and just relax. But that misses a step because the mind is in a spiral, and you need to break that spiral by giving the mind something else to focus on.
Okay.
So something like count back from 100 in sevens, or for the younger people, look around and see, name 3 things that you can see that are green. Or name 5 fruits, or 5 fruits in alphabetical order if you want to make it more difficult. So you're forcing the brain to think of something else. And now you've broken that spiral. And now you can, okay, let's breathe in deeply. And then for the younger children, I like the hand method where you go up, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So for the little ones, they can understand that.
That can work for us as well. Because sometimes our minds are so in that spiral, that actually is what we need, to just focus and be in the moment.
Be in the moment,
yes.
And then the activity in your brain is not now in that central part of your brain where emotion is seated. It's available now in the prefrontal cortex where we can actually reason and think straight.
Riana, sometimes people are burnt out, but they don't realize it themselves. And we know that people that are burnt out and that are very highly qualified in their workspace and in the work that they do, that sometimes the burnout will go over into chronic illnesses as well. So the overall health will be affected. And that is very concerning for their families and maybe their wife or their husband. If someone see that in their partner or in their children or in their father or mother, what should they do? Should they go to them and say, I see this? Or what what would you recommend they do?
I think that is a very, very valuable question. But it's a very sensitive topic to address with somebody that's already feeling that they are not coping, maybe without realizing it, because they are just pushing themselves so hard. So if they hear that, I can see that you're not coping, that you're not well, they can easily take it up as criticism or interpret it as criticism. And I think this is where the medical doctors plays a valuable role, because as you said, a lot of this prolonged stress becomes stress-related illnesses, and I think the role for the medical doctors to bring this to somebody's attention, that you are not failing. It's not that you are just at your end, and you cannot carry on at this extremely fast pace. So for the doctor to bring that under their attention, I think is a good idea.
So that is where stepping up alongside the doctor and taking hands and helping this person in a holistic way is a good thing.
Yes, definitely, because it's difficult to approach a sensitive subject with a loved one. We will rather hear something from a third party or an objective person. I mean, how many times we tell our children things and then somebody else tells them the exact same thing and then they hear it?
I think that people that is burnt out, they want to do more and they need energy and capacity to do more. So I think it must be very frightening for them to actually make the decision to do less.
Yes, definitely, Yolinda, because they are just pushing themselves and just thinking, I must try harder to do all these things. So it's not about doing less, it's just to help your body to be able to function effectively. And that means that we need to focus on that nerve system, just to reset your nervous system and to really take care of your body with adequate sleep, eat, all those things that we spoke of earlier. And then your body will be able to do things.
Yeah, and that is where the balanced diet comes in as well, because you need all that vitamins and minerals to make all your neurotransmitters and to make all the vitamins and minerals, or to use them to let your body function properly.
Definitely, and I think the cortisol, if it's elevated all the time, you just want those sugary foods, those fatty foods, those quick things, and that is not necessarily the nutrition that your body needs.
Riana, thank you so much for this insightful conversation with you.
Thank you, Yolinda. It was really a privilege to be here, because this is actually such a valuable topic, because we are living in a stressed society, and we need to take better care of our bodies.
For everyone watching, remember, it's not just about calories in and calories out. It's all about creating the balance between mental and your physical and your emotional health. We'll see you next time in Health Focus. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until then, remember, check in with yourself and take a breath. Remember, mountains are climbed one step at a time.